People always ask me about the fire. They want to know about the underground mine fire that's been burning beneath Centralia, Pennsylvania since 1962. They've read the official story, how the town council set the landfill on fire to clean it up before Memorial Day, how the flames spread to the coal seam below, how the government eventually condemned the whole town. By 1992, only 7 stubborn families remained out of over 1,000 residents. But they don't know the real reason the fire started. They don't know what we found down there first. And they sure as hell don't know why some of us stayed, even after the ground cracked open and poisonous gases killed everything green. I'm 73 now. Doctor says the lung cancer will take me before Christmas. So I'm going to tell you what really happened in Centralia, what's still happening, and why that fire can never, ever be allowed to go out. It started in February 1962, 3 months before the accidental fire. Bobby Kramer and Pete Duchek were working the No. 9 mine shaft, one of the old bootleg operations from the Depression era. The big companies had pulled out years ago, but locals still went down for scraps, selling what they could find to dealers in Ashland. They'd broken through into a section that had been sealed since 1891. The wooden barriers had a sign in Polish and English, Zaksno, forbidden, by order of the Centralia Mining Company, but would rot after 70 years, and Bobby and Pete figured there might be good coal behind it. What they found instead was a room, carved from solid rock, about 30 feet square. The walls were covered in symbols, not mining marks, but something older. Bobby later described them as looking like letters that hurt to read. In the center of the room was a pit, maybe 10 feet wide, that went down further than their lights could reach. And around the pit, arranged in a perfect circle, were 12 miners. They'd been dead since 1891, but they hadn't decomposed. The dry air and coal dust had mummified them. They were kneeling, heads bowed, hands clasped like they were praying. Each one had a name tag on their helmet. Each one had their eyes sewn shut with what looked like copper wire. Pete wanted to leave immediately. Bobby wanted to check for valuables. That's when they heard it, a sound from the pit, like breathing but wrong, like something massive inhaling and exhaling, but the rhythm was off. Too long between breaths, too wet. They ran, made it to the surface and came straight to the police station, demanding I go look. I thought they were drunk until I saw their faces. Real terror changes a man's features, makes them look younger and older at the same time. I went down with 2 deputies the next day, found the room exactly as described, the 12 bodies, the pit, the symbols that seemed to squirm if you didn't look directly at them. And in the corner, something Bobby and Pete had missed in their panic, a journal, wrapped in oilcloth. The journal belonged to Stanislaw Kowalski, foreman of the No. 9 shaft in 1891. Most of it was in Polish, but the last entries were in broken English, like he wanted anyone to understand. I'll never forget what those pages said. We dig too deep, find the old mine. The native men, they try warn us. Say this mountain is prison. Say something locked below by first people. We laugh. We Americans now. We no believe savage stories. But Johnson find room. Room with pictures that move. Room with pit that breathes. Men who go close, they change. They hear voice. They say it promises. Promises wealth. Promises power. Promises life forever. Just need feed it. 5 men already gone to it. They go down pit at night. They no come back. But we hear them still. Hear them digging. Always digging. Getting closer to surface. More men won't go. Say voice beautiful. Say voice is God. I know is not God. God no ask for blood. God no make men claw own eyes out to stop seeing visions. We seal shaft tomorrow. 12 volunteer stay. Keep watch. Sing hymns to drown out voice. If anyone read this, do not dig. Do not listen. Do not feed it. The last entry was just 1 line. It getting louder. It knows we hear. It hungry so long. God help us. I wanted to seal the mine immediately, but the town council had other ideas. Coal was money, and Centralia needed money. They said it was just superstition, old immigrant nonsense. They ordered the shaft reopened, the bodies removed, the pit explored. That's when the accidents started. First, Jim Garrett fell into the pit. We heard him screaming for 3 days, getting fainter, seeming to come from everywhere underground at once. Then Michael Tosiki vanished during a night shift. His brother found him a week later, 3 miles away, in a sealed shaft that hadn't been opened since 1902. He was alive but changed. Wouldn't speak, wouldn't eat, just drew those symbols over and over, until his fingers bled. By May, 17 men had gone missing. The town council finally agreed to seal the mine, but it was too late. The thing in the pit, we'd started calling it that, the thing, had been fed. It was stronger, and it was moving. The fire started on May 27, 1962. The official story about the landfill is bullshit. I was there. I saw Tom Dempsey pour 500 gallons of gasoline into the number 9 shaft. I helped him throw in the highway flares. We thought fire would kill it, or at least trap it. We were wrong. The fire just made it angry. And when coal burns underground, it creates tunnels, passages, highways for something that had been trapped in one spot for God knows how long. The ground started collapsing within months. Not normal subsidence. The holes were too regular, too deep. Pets disappeared, then children. Little Susie Adamson vanished from her backyard in broad daylight. We found her dress at the edge of a sinkhole, but the hole went down hundreds of feet. We could hear her singing down there, singing hymns her grandmother had taught her. The singing lasted 2 weeks, then it stopped. The government came in 1981. Not the state, the real government. Black cars, no plates. They interviewed everyone, confiscated all the records about the mine, including that journal. They said the carbon monoxide from the fire was causing mass hallucinations. They offered buyouts to anyone who'd leave and sign a non-disclosure agreement. Most people took the money and ran, but 46 of us stayed. Not because we were stubborn, because we knew what was down there, getting stronger every year, feeding on the fire, growing, spreading through the tunnel system beneath Pennsylvania. Someone had to keep watch. Someone had to make sure it stayed down there. We developed a system. Every night, 2 people would patrol the fence line, watching for signs, checking the monitors we'd hidden near the major sinkholes, documenting any sounds from below. And once a month, on the new moon when it was darkest, we'd perform the ritual. I won't describe the ritual. Some knowledge is too dangerous. But I'll say this, it required sacrifice. Animal, mostly. Sometimes more, when the thing got too active, too close to breaking through. We drew straws. We did what we had to do. The young people think we're crazy, the few who still live here. They don't understand why we won't leave, why we spend our nights watching holes in the ground, why we paint those symbols on our doors. They don't hear what we hear in the steam vents, voices of the missing, calling up from below, begging to be let out or begging others to come down, I'm never sure which. They don't know about 1987, when it almost escaped. The ground opened up on Route 61, swallowed a whole Greyhound bus. 32 people. The government blamed the fire, underground instability. But I saw the hole, saw the claw marks on the asphalt, heard the screaming from below that went on for months. That's when they rerouted the highway, told everyone it was because of the fire damage. Really, they were trying to limit traffic. Fewer people meant fewer potential victims, fewer chances for it to feed and grow stronger. But it's patient. It's been trapped since before humans had writing, according to the indigenous stories I've managed to collect. The Susquehannock tribe called this place the mouth that swallows. They performed rituals here, keeping it contained. When they were driven out, that knowledge was lost. Until the miners found it again. The fire's been burning for 30 years now. Government says it'll burn for another 250 years at least. Good. Let it burn. Fire's the only thing keeping that thing confused, angry, distracted. When the fire goes out, when the ground cools and settles, it'll be able to focus, to plan, to rise. There are only 7 of us left now, 7 guardians for a thing that could swallow cities. Margaret Dubinsky watches the north perimeter. John and Janet Lokaitis take the east. The Womer family has the south, and I used to have the west, but the cancers got me too weak to walk the fence line. I'm recording this because someone needs to know. When we're gone, when the last guardian dies, Centralia will be completely empty. Just smoking ground and broken roads. People will think it's safe to come back, to redevelop, to dig. If you're listening to this, if you're thinking about coming to Centralia, I'm begging you, don't. The fire isn't the danger. The fire is the only thing protecting you. Because beneath the burning coal, beneath the toxic gases and unstable ground, something waits. Something that the first people knew to fear. Something that turns men into monsters and monsters into gods. Sometimes, on quiet nights, I can hear it breathing through the cracks in my basement floor. Wet, labored breathing, like something massive trying to squeeze through spaces too small. Sometimes I hear my name in that breathing. Sometimes I hear promises, an end to the cancer, an end to the fear, an end to the watching. All I have to do is go down. All I have to do is feed it. I won't. I'll die up here, in the light, in the air. But God help me, sometimes I want to see it. After 30 years of fighting something I've never actually laid eyes on, I want to know what we're guarding against. What could be so terrible that burning an entire town was considered the better option? The doctor was wrong. The cancer won't kill me before Christmas. I can feel it spreading faster, encouraged by something that shouldn't exist. I have maybe a week, maybe less. When I die, there will be 6 guardians, then 5, then 4. And when the last one falls, and the fire finally dies, and the ground cools and hardens, God help whoever's living in Pennsylvania then. God help them all.